When I was about 10 years old, we used to wheat the milk wagon. When the driver would leave the wagon, we would take quarts of milk when he couldn't see us. There was a company called Swift's Meat Packers who had the first truck around in the area. One time, while there, were delivered to a customer, stole a crate of eggs, 48 dozen in the crate. We sold to the police, would be searching his store. I hid the crate of eggs in our house for 2 days. When we took them to the restaurant, he paid us 15 cents a dozen. Wow, we were rich. We also made money on the off railroad tracks. It would be thrown off with the train with the ashes of the fire of the shunter train. This required a lot of work. Then we had to find bags to put the coal in. So we devised a plan. There was a man called Billy Moore who had a little shack in the railroad yard. And he used to welcome our visits along with anyone out, especially the CNR cops. We told Billy how hard it was to get money to go to the show. He was the watchman for the railway cars, for their railway cars that were put on the siding, mostly open coal cars. We would get up and on the cars and kick the coal off. When the cars were bagged off with the tracks, we would go down and pick up bags of coal with Billy's blessing. One time, while we were kicking the coal off the railway car, the CNR cop caught us and was going to report us for stealing. But Billy came to our rescue and told the cop that we were getting the coal for him, so back off and leave us alone. He apologized to us and to Billy. After he's gone, we bagged up the coal and proceeded to sell it to the local people at 35 cents a bag. On some locations, we would carry the coal bag in, pass it out through the cellar window, and sells the same bags to them the second time. In other words, we would sell 4 bags of coal and they would only get 3. The year now is 1939. Canada's gone to war. I was 11 years old. Cars at the time there was a lot of war machines on the flat cars, such as trucks, cars, tanks, and such things. We saw that each of these machines were praised with 2x4 and 4x4. They were put on the siding by Billy Moore's shack. So we decided to take the bracing off, cut up 2x4 and 4x4s. We would sell the kindling for 10 cents a bag. But alas for us, we had taken a new young fellow into our group. His name was McFarland, and he had never jumped from the railway cars to the wall. While we were taking the wood off of the army vehicles, comes the CNR cop. We all escaped except the new fellow. The CNR cop caught him, top of the boxcar, as he was scared to jump up to the wall. We showed the cop where we lived, and he charged us for destroying government property. It gets quite confusing at this point. I have to go back 2 weeks from this point. I was in grade 5 at this time. I didn't like the teacher, so I play hooky mostly. I hung around Parsons Transfer, which was horse and wagon they were. Few trucks, and all trucking was done by horse and wagon. The Teamsters allowed me to go on trips around Halifax, and I was overjoyed. Some of the teams were made up of all 8 horses, while on one of these rides, a truant officer spotted me, and he took my name, and said he would report me to the school, and he did. Back to the school, and they informed me that I had to appear in court the following Thursday. I also had to appear in court on Thursday for charges laid by CNR. My mother was very upset at the news, and so we went to court, and they said that we had done $5,000 damage. They were going to all this amount, but the judge waived this amount as one of the families were able to pay, so I was sentenced to St. Patrick's Boys' Home. My mother said she would come and visit us. My brother Joe was already in the home by this time, about 6 months. I spent a year in the home, and that's another story. Joe get out at the same time. I was 12 years old then. By the way, my mother, or sister, visited every week on Sunday.